All right, Jeff, well, thank you so much for talking with me today. We're going to talk about some of the top do's and don'ts of online video, and who better to talk to than Jeff Martin. Jeff, you have a lot of experience with video campaigns for big brands such as Sony and Betty Crocker and Kraft. And so I would love to hear your thoughts on some of the top do's, some of the top tips, and some of the things that you say, don't do that with online video. What are some of the trends that you've been seeing?
Well, we deal a lot with brands mostly, but brands do a lot of things that independents or small business owners or those who just bursting into video, they'll make a lot of the same choices, some good, some bad, that anybody else would make. And what we've been seeing, for example, is not having much of a strategy, where their marketing folks will kind of be, they're looking for that next viral video. They want to shoot the viral video, and it's not much of a strategy. It's like throwing a Hail Mary and going, "Well, I hope this works. Somebody catch it, please." And that's not a sound strategy. It's not a sound strategy for anyone. The CEO of Touchstorm, she was quoted recently as saying about 1 in 500 brand videos ever goes viral. That and by viral, we're defining viral as like by getting more than 500,000 views. But a lot of times, it's not just the content of the video, which is highly important, but it's also about what's your ground strategy. We just came out of an election and we heard about the ground strategy. Well, ground strategy when it comes to video is distribution. What are you going to do to get it out there? So you got this great video, it's on your hard drive. Now what?
Right.
Yeah, you actually have to get it out there.
Yeah.
Get it out so people can actually see it, and then you can start sharing it.
And can you give some tips on how you would actually get it out there, or what would the strategy be?
Well, the two most important things are, one, to get it up on your own site, your own owned and operated assets. Of course, if you're a larger company, you may have a whole bunch. What also factors into this is, what's the purpose of the video? What were the goals that you put around the video? Because that might help you determine where it is the video should be going. In other words, is this purely a sales play? You're trying to get the video out there because you want to drive back sales, lead generation. Is there just a communications message that you're trying to get out? Is some kind of awareness?
So YouTube, I mean, we all know it's huge, and obviously your video has to be on YouTube. But how do you get people to then actually see it? Do you have any tricks, anything that would help your video to be actually watched?
Sure. One of the neat things about YouTube is, an example of Facebook or Twitter, just as two primary examples here, you have to build an audience before you really get anything out of it. For example, you're going to open a Facebook account, well, unless you start reaching out and creating all these connections with other people or other businesses, there's not much communication that can go on. Twitter, it's basically the same thing, but the neat thing about YouTube is you don't have to necessarily create a base to start from in order to try and get some traction for your video.
So I've also heard a lot of things like little tips about the length of the video and the intro, how it has to be captivating and how you have to sit close to the camera instead of far away. Could you talk about those things a little bit?
You've got a very small amount of time to actually get some attention. So usually someone's going to find your video, they'll do a search on YouTube, or there'll be a related video. On the right side, when you're watching a video, there'll be like suggestions. And so the user will have some kind of idea, about what's at the end of that clip that they're going to make. So when they get there, that expectation needs to quickly be met. You have to have a really nice hook.
Yeah.
Essentially. So for example, if it's a recipe video, that's a food is common. Food is very popular video. If you're doing a recipe video, one of the lessons learned there is you really need to start with an opening shot of the finished dish, right? So no one's going to want to wait, 18 minutes for you to finish the recipe just to figure out what it's going to look like at the end of the video. I need to know now what it's going to look like so I can be enticed to go, oh, that looks delicious. Okay, now I'm going to lean back and I'll watch the next 10 minutes of that video. So, and that applies to anything, whether it be food, hair and beauty. Those are a prime example, right? We want to see a finished look,
Yeah.
We want to know what the look's supposed to look like So if we don't like it, then we can go watch something else.
That's a great tip. So if maybe you're showing people like a graphic design, you'll show the finished result first and then how to do it. Another thing I quickly want to touch upon is Google Video Sitemaps. I've heard a lot of people talk about this. What is your thought? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, every time, the last times I've heard Matt Cutts, who's kind of the front and center guy, public guy for YouTube, especially when it comes to all search and spam matters, he keeps saying, you need to be doing sitemaps. I think there's a last bunch of videos that Google Webmaster Tools put out about video on their own YouTube channel, and they're even saying one of the most important things you can do is you need to get a sitemap. And basically, you're providing them the information that they need in the format that they want. So they quickly go grab information and store it.
So let's go back a little bit to the basics of a sitemap. We've all seen regular sitemaps on any type of website. What differentiates a video sitemap from a regular sitemap?
Well, so there's a couple of different things that you would include. Like, for example, I mentioned earlier, like a thumbnail URL. So every video you have, let's say you have 10 videos. So you have a video sitemap, and it's just going to list or pertain to those 10 videos. So typically, what you find in a normal sitemap, you have your URL, you have the title of the page, there's basic information that you already include. The little things that set it apart are that thumbnail URL, and then you need to include one or two things. You need to include either a link to a player that is, or a URL that contains the parameters for a player and a specific video, so that if we were to copy and paste the URL for that player and put it into a browser, what should happen is that a player should load and a video should either be clickable to play or start playing. So if that doesn't happen and that's what you're using, you probably have a problem. But those are the two most important things. And of course, the third thing is you actually have a URL to a page that the video actually lives on.
Right, a page on your own website.
Exactly, and then there's a whole bunch of things you can do, like you can put in all kinds of metadata about rating, is it family friendly, who's in it, people's actual names, who directed it, so that you can get as in depth as you want to, but that's not required for video sitemaps. One nice thing that Google does recommend, but it's not required, is that you actually insert the link to the video. Because what Google has told us publicly is that they notice that people use length of video as a search criteria. So if your video is 7 minutes long and people are looking for a 7-minute video, well, then again, yours might be filtered out. But however, if there's a topic that they really want to know about, and they might set the criteria that says, I don't want to watch videos that are less than 2 minutes because I'm probably not going to get a whole lot out of it. And they'll go a little bit longer, and then your video can have a better chance of showing up for those.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. Well, Jeff, I really appreciate it. I could talk to you for a long time about this because you know so much. But I appreciate your time. Where can people find you online? If they have any questions, if they want to connect with you, where can people find you?
The best thing to do is probably reach out to me on Twitter. It's very simple. It's just Jeff_Martin. And that's it.
That works. Perfect. Well, thank you very much.
Great. It was great talking to you.